Hello, Standard 8th. In today's session, we are going to learn a poem. Okay? And the writer of this poem, or the poet of this poem, you can say, is Pandit Ravindranath Tagore. Okay? The name of the poem is The Last Bargain. What is the name of the poem? The Last Bargain. Okay, I repeat again. In this session we are going to learn a poem written by Pandit Ravindranath Tagore, and the name of the poem is The Last Bargain. Okay, keep the book in hand. You would read the poem also. First, we would have a short introduction about the poem. Then we would read the whole poem, which is in 4 stanzas, and then the explanation of the poem. Fine. So let's first read the paragraph which has been given in the book. Okay, just have a look on it. So what does the paragraph given in your book say below the title? The Last Bargain. And what is it been written? A bargain is an agreement in which both parties promise to do something for each other. That is called a bargain. Right? Someone is looking for work, waiting to be hired. He strikes a bargain but thinks it worthless. He tries twice again but doesn't like either. Finally, in the last bargain, when he is hired for nothing whatever, he is happy as never before. Means here they are telling us about the poem. That in the poem, there is someone who is looking for work. Who is looking for work means who is waiting for to be hired. Hired means so that he could get some job, get some work to do. Okay, for that he bargains. Bargains means he decides that what work he would do and what charges would he get for that. Okay, this kind of thing is called bargaining. He does that bargaining but he finds it worthless. Okay, then he tries again. He again tries it, that let me try once more. But that also fails. That also goes worthless. It doesn't work. Finally, in the last bargain, when he is being hired, when he is hired for nothing whatever, he is as happy as never before. So what is the bargain and why it is the best? Let's see in this poem. Okay, let's have a look on the introduction first. The Last Bargain. Okay, as I told you in the start only, that this poem is written by the poet of this poem, you can say, is Pandit Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, in the title also you can see on the screen of yours that the poet's name is written there, Pandit Rabindranath Tagore. The Last Bargain is the poem written by the famous and renowned Bengali poet Pandit Rabindranath Tagore. In this, it is a poem about a person looking for a job. In this poem, we would see a person. Okay, we would read about a person who is looking for a job. The speaker in the poem is searching for a job in which he does not have to lose his freedom. Now here in this poem, we are going to have a look on a person who is looking for a job. And what kind of a job he is looking for? He is looking for a job where he should not lose his freedom also. Means he has his own rights also. Okay, in that. So that's why whenever he gets a job, he wants to bargains in that. Okay, he receives the first proposal from the king. The king offers him power in return for his labor. Right? Means first job he gets from the king. The first job proposal is given by the king. The king offers him the power in return for his labor, but he refuses the king's offer. Okay, here he refuses the king's offer, that he doesn't need the king's job, though the king is giving him the powers in return of his job. But here in this, the speaker, or you can say the person about whom we are reading, is not willing for that job. Okay. Further, what happens? He receives the second offer from a rich man. Further, what happens? He receives the second job offer from a rich man. Okay. He offers the speaker lots of gold in return. Means the speaker here means the poet, you can say, Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. He is telling about him. He is telling a story about himself. We can say like that. Okay. First offer has been given by a king and the second offer has been given by a rich man. When the king offers him the job or gives him the proposal of the job, he tells him that he would give him some powers also in return. But the speaker refuses for that. Second offer is being given by a rich man. The rich man offers the speaker lots of gold in return for his labor, for the work which he is going to do. But the speaker refuses his offer also. Why? Can anybody tell me? Why do the poet or why do the speaker refuses for all the offers which have been given to him? We have read it in this. Why does? Because he is searching for a job in which he does not lose his freedom. Okay. Further, he received the third offer from a beautiful girl. She says that she will give him smiles in return of his labor. Third offer, he gets it from a girl. And the girl says that if you work for me, for your labor, I'll give you smiles. The speaker refuses her offer too. The third offer is also been refused by the poet. In the end, he finds a child playing on the seesaw. The child says that he will offer him nothing in return for his services. Right? And the fourth offer, in the end, the poet finds a child playing at the seesaw. He goes to that child, but that child says that he cannot offer him anything in return for his services. And the speaker accepts the child's offer as he can still be a free man. And why does the poet accept the child's order? Because what the poet wanted, he wanted to be free. And doing the child's job or accepting the child's offer, the first thing which the poet is going to get is he can be a free man, which he wants. Okay, so this is about the poem, The Last Bargain. Now let's read the poem first. Now, first the poem, let's read it. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road. This is the first line which I am reading. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. What is a chariot? A chariot is a vehicle, you can say, in where the horses are been tied. You must have seen in Mahabharata and all, when they go for the war, the king and are riding on this. Okay, so that is a chariot. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power. But his power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. We read it that the first offer to the poet was given by the king. Okay, the king also told him that he would give him all the powers as the king has. But the poet refuses for that. He says no, he won't accept that offer of king. Second para, second stanza. In the heat of the midday, in the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I will hire you with my money. I weighed the coins one by one, but I turned away. Now here in this para we are seeing that the poet is been offered second time. Second time the poet is been offered by the rich man. The rich man says that I will hire you, and for your labor I'll pay you all my gold which I have. But the poet refuses for that too. Third para. It was evening, the garden hedge was all aflower. A fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. In the third para, we are seeing that the third offer to the poet was given by an beautiful girl. She said that if the poet accepts her work, she would give him a smile for his labor. But the poet refused her offer also. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke wildly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I hire you with nothing. From thenceforward, that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. And here in the third para, we can see that the poet accepts the offer of the child, because accepting the child's offer, the first thing which the poet can get is to be free. He can be a free man if he works for the child. So in the last we see that the poet accepts the offer of the child. Okay, he refuses all the three offers given by the king, the rich man, and the beautiful girl. Fine. Now let's go for the explanation. The last bargain is the poem describing about a story of a man, okay, who is in search of a job. Now he wants the job also, but in return he also wants that his freedom should not go away. He should not lose his freedom also. Okay. So the speaker receives the offer from the powerful, rich and beautiful, okay, beautiful, but turns all them down. Okay, now the poet in this poem receives the offer from powerful people also, rich people also, and beautiful people also. But in return he turns them all down. We have seen in all of the poem. And finally he accepts the offer from a child, and which is his last bargain. Okay, now let me explain you stanza wise. In the first stanza, the poet receives the offer from a king, okay, early in the morning. When he moves out in the morning, the first offer which he receives is from a king. The king possesses more power than wealth. The king has plenty of wealth with him, okay, but the main thing which the king has is his power, which he can use anywhere. Thus, the same power the poet is being offered by the king. Okay, the king says that he would give all his powers in return for the services which the poet is going to give him. But the speaker thinks that his power is not much worth it. Right? Because the powers can fade out soon. The powers can fade out soon. So he refuses to accept the king's order. Okay? Fine? Why did the poet refuse the king's offer? Because he felt that the king's offer is worthless. Because the power which the king is going to give him is going to fade away very soon, some or the other day. Right? Means here we can say that the poet thought that he could lose his job anytime. Whenever the king would not find him comfortable, he could remove him, and soon these powers can fade out immediately. So, thinking of this, the poet refuses to accept the king's offer. Okay, moving to the second stanza. Further, he gets the second offer. He moves further. After meeting to the king, he moves further. What is the second stanza? The second stanza is, in the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. When he was moving further, it was a midday, it was afternoon, total heat. Okay, the houses which he was going through were all shut doors. He wandered through a crooked lane. I wandered through a crooked lane means he was wandering. Wandering means to roam here and there. He was roaming here and there on the crooked lane. At that time, what happened? At that time, a rich man came out of his house. Okay, and what was that rich man having? That rich man was having a bag of lots of gold with him. Okay, and what did that rich man do? The rich man came out of the house. He offered the speaker lots of gold for his service. Okay, now gold and wealth did not at all attract the speaker. Though he was getting the job, though he was getting the wealth in return for all, but this was all not attracting him. It was all worthless for him. Okay, he feels that the money will be spent soon. Look at this. The power which he was getting from the king, he did not accept that power. Why? Because he thought that these powers of the king would fade out very soon. Secondly, when he moved further, he got the offer from a rich man. He took that offer. He refused for that offer also. Why? Because he felt that the money which the rich man is going to give him would be spent soon, and it cannot buy everlasting happiness for him. Working for the king, giving him all the powers, could not give him any happiness. Getting the wealth from the rich man, that wealth also did not attract him. Why? Because he felt that the money which he is going to get from the rich man could not buy him any happiness. The one thing which the poet needed was the happiness. The work which he would do should be everlasting. He wanted the happiness that should be everlasting. So, neither the wealth nor the gold attracted him, and neither the power given by the king. So, thus he refused the power, thus he refused the wealth from the old man also. Now it became evening. In the third paragraph, it was evening, the garden hedge was all of flower. The fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. This is the third para. So here what is the poet trying to say? In the evening, when the poet was moving further, there was a natural beauty and flowers all around, because he went through a garden and the garden was full of flowers. A beautiful girl with a pretty smile offered him smiles in return for his service. Now we are looking at that. The king offered him power, did not attract the speaker. The rich man offered him gold. The wealth also did not attract the speaker. Now the beautiful girl with a pretty smile is offering him the job and said that he would give him smiles in return for his service. The speaker feels, now here what does the speaker feel? Here the speaker feels that her happiness was sorrowful in disguise, because he said that this smile can also fade away anytime. It can turn into tears anytime. So this smile is also not everlasting. Thus he did not find it also suitable for him, and so he also turned her offer down. Okay? Why did he refuse for king's order or king's power? Because he thought that the king's power would fade down anytime. Why did he refuse for the gold given by the rich man? Because he thought that the money which is given by the old man can be spent soon, okay, and it cannot buy everlasting smile. And why did he refuse for the girl's smile? Because he felt that the girl's happiness can turn into sorrow anytime. This smile can turn into tears anytime. Okay, the speaker feels that the happiness of the girl was sorrowful in disguise, and so he did not find it suitable, and he turned her offer also down. Okay. Now ultimately what happened in the last stanza? Ultimately, while walking in the reaches of seashore, this is the last stanza. Let's read first the last stanza. The sun glistened. Glistened means shined, okay, shone. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke waywardly. The child sat playing his shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I hire you with nothing. And from thenceforward, that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. What does the last stanza say? Ultimately, when the poet was walking, he reaches the seesaw. Okay? Walking, he reaches the seesaw. And there he finds an innocent child playing with seashells, playing with sand, playing with seashells. He plays there with him. The man starts playing with him. The poet, you can say the speaker, starts playing with the boy at the seesaw. But the child says, what does the child say? The child says that he can pay nothing in return for the labor of the speaker. What does the child say to the poet? The child says to the speaker that though you are playing with me, you are giving your service to me, but I cannot pay you anything, but I can pay you nothing in return. The speaker accepts his offer. Now this offer, where the speaker is getting nothing, he accepts that offer. Why? He accepts that offer because he feels that while playing with the child, he will not lose his freedom. Why did he accept the child's offer? Because while playing with the child, he felt that he would not lose anything. While playing with anything means the main thing with the poet wanted was his freedom. Okay. He will still be a free man and will receive everlasting happiness playing with that boy, playing with that child. The first thing with the poet will get is the freedom, and the second thing he will get is the everlasting happiness. Okay, playing with that innocent child. And this was the last bargain that made the poet accept it, as he was not to compromise his freedom. And that's why the last bargain was the last bargain was accepted by the speaker. Why? Because the poet was not to compromise with his freedom. First offer was given by the king. What did the king say? King said that for your service, I'll give you my powers. But the poet did not accept that also. Why? Because the poet felt that the powers of the king can fade away anytime. He moves further, meets a rich man with a bag of gold. The rich man offers him gold and tells him that if you work for me, I will give you the gold. The gold and wealth also did not attract the poet. Okay, why was the poet not attracted with the gold and wealth also? Because first thing which the poet felt was that the gold and wealth can be spent out very soon, and secondly, this gold cannot give him the happiness in which he is searching for. The poet thought that he would not get the happiness which he is searching for. So that's why he refused for that offer also. Further he moved, where he saw a beautiful garden and a beautiful girl who said that for his service she would give him smiles. But the poet refused for her offer also. Why? Because the poet felt that the happiness of the girl is sorrowful. This smile of the girl can turn into sorrow anytime. Means the smile is also going to fade away one day. And the poet wanted two things. First is everlasting happiness, and second, he was not ready to compromise with his freedom. Okay. Further he went to the seesaw. At the seesaw he saw a boy playing there, and the poet also started playing with him. Playing with the boy, the author felt when the author was playing with that innocent boy, what did the boy say? The boy said that in return I cannot pay you anything. And this is what the poet wanted. He accepted the boy's offer. Okay. Why? Because the first thing which he was getting with playing with the boy was he was not losing his freedom. While playing with the boy, he was not losing his freedom. And the last thing that happened was he was not ready to compromise with his freedom also, and that's why he was getting the freedom also to play with the boy. Okay, and he was getting the everlasting happiness also. Okay, so this is all about the poem. Now, going through the poem, what conclusion did you get? What is the conclusion? Let's see. Now, the conclusion of the last bargain. What is the conclusion? The conclusion is, for real and everlasting happiness, we do not need power, money or beauty. Okay? Means, if you want a real happiness, don't run behind the money, don't run behind the power, or don't run behind the beauty. The everlasting happiness, the real happiness which you want, you can get without these things also. And that can only be done without selfishness. Freedom and innocence can make person's life happy and contented. Okay, so do the work which satisfies you. Okay, and search for the happiness, everlasting happiness, not into the power, not into the money or in the beauty of anything. Now lastly, I have given you some 4 word meanings. Just look at that word meanings. Our first word is wedge. You have to note down this. What is a wedge? A wedge is a piece of wood or metal having one thick end and tapering in a thin edge. Okay, what is a wedge? A wedge is a piece of wood, metal having one thick end or tapering in a thin edge. Our second word is wayward. Wayward. What is wayward? Wayward means difficult to control or predict because of willful or perverse behavior. What is it? Difficult to control or predict because of willful and perverse behavior. Next is pondered. 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 Okay. What is pondered? Pondered means think about something carefully, especially before making a decision. Okay. What is pondered? Pondered means think about something carefully, especially making a decision. Okay. And the last word is chariot. As I have told you what is a chariot, but through the meaning you can understand. It is a two-wheeled vehicle drawn by horses. Okay. Especially it was drawn in ancient times or at the time of warfare. Means at the time of war, when there was war between the king. Okay. At that time this chariot was being used. Okay. So these are the 4 word meanings. Wedge, a piece of wood, metal, etc. having a thick end and tapering to a thin edge. Wayward, difficult to control or predict because of willful or perverse behavior. Pondered, think about something carefully, especially before making a decision. And chariot, a two-wheeled vehicle drawn by horses used in ancient racing and warfare. Okay. Now this was the poem, The Last Bargain. The poet of this poem, Pandit Rabindranath Tagore. I had given you the conclusion also that for real and everlasting happiness, we do not need power, money and beauty. Okay. You should do the work which satisfies you without all these things. The inner satisfaction is the must for the happiness. Okay. So, noting down is only the word meanings. Worksheets, soon I'll give you the worksheet related with this. Read the poem again and again. Take care of your health. Wash your hands. Wear the mask. Hope to meet you all soon. Bye.